Greetings, fellow Armchair Imagineers. BlueDragonFive here with another thrilling installment of Disney Debates, Imagineering Edition. That's right, folks. Tonight's debate has an Imagineering focus, which, let's just say, brings the fire out of our two competitors going mano in the ring tonight. The topics are as follows. Pitch a new e-ticket for Toy Story Land. Give a Disney attraction a Disney character overlay, and what bad Disney film would make the very best ride? And speed round questions galore on the side. Without further delay, let's greet our illustrious Imagineering contenders this fine evening. In this corner, a coaster connoisseur you can trust. It's Tiki!
Dragon, in this debate, I'm going to be like James Franco. I'm going to be eating a lot of pie because it's so good.
Don't take that out of context, folks.
No sound bites. No sound bites. I'm talking to you, press guys. And in the opposing, he's nailed Imagineering and baked goods down.
Oh, boy.
Hello?
To
Oh, God. You can do it.
and on the
How's
side,
that pie tasting, Tiki?
Shit. Oh, that just sounds so wrong.
No, it's from the movie. How's that pie? How's the pie?
right.
So
Dragon,
cool.
you there? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, you cut out. You want to introduce pie again?
Oh, sure. He's nailed Imagineering and baked goods down to a science. It's pie on my cake.
Woo!
Hi, I didn't think of something clever to say. So, going down, Tiki. I don't have a Spider-Man reference.
All right. And on the side,
Bonesaw is ready.
There you go. Pretend I said that.
and on the side, my two assistant judges this fine evening. We're going to change things up, folks. We're going to get experimental on this, man. We're going to blow everyone's mind. On the side, the man behind the Youch Film Podcast, SandyClaws.
Hi.
And right next to him, the boy wonder who maintains our fine arena, Jacob Wile.
Yo, everybody. What's up?
So, fellas, how we doing tonight?
Fine?
Awesome.
I'm doing good. Yep.
What about you, Pi? It's been a long time since you've graced us with your presence.
I know, you guys made the horrible mistake of welcoming me back here. Bad move on your part.
I blame the economy.
Yeah.
There's no
I was
correlation. I
the
just
keep
blame them for anything. Just really, like, hey, the weather, it's the economy. It's got to be. Anyway. All right. It's a little refresher on tonight's rules because, again, we're kind of taking fate at the wheel, you might say. We're just kind of veering off left and right, just hoping it works out for the best. But also a little refresher for those playing the home game or just really eager participants at home on the edge of their seats to see who's going to triumph, Tiki or Pie. Okay, so folks, very simple. We got 3 rounds. We still got 3 rounds, 3 questions. Of course, the way we're going to go around the same way, we're going to reveal our pick. We're going to give the opening statement in which I really want to hear what and why, and then, of course, fight it out. At the end of the 3rd round, we will present our new favorite, our new favorite optional feature of the Disney debates, the kind that at times caustic implementation known as the coin. Works very simply. After the initial 3 rounds, I will present these fine gentlemen with the choice to flip a coin. If it lands heads, they get a point. If it lands tails, they lose a point. So there's benefits as well as, well, let's just say, subtractions. And to spice things up tonight, again, because we have kind of a mano-a-mano showdown, we figured we'd try to spice things up and kind of amp up the stakes with my two cohorts here. Basically, they are going to have they're going to have say. All three of us will cast our votes after R2, the bell here as always. After R2 goes, we'll go around here. Will be me, Jacob, and Sandy, and we will all basically cast our vote to who we thought best defended and fought the round, who won the round, and basically whoever has the most whoever has the most yays will get the point. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So, gentlemen, do you understand these rules as I have explained them to you here this evening?
Affirmative.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
Good man. Okay. Like the cut of his jib. We'll go far in this world anyway. All right, let's go to the randomizer to make sure, like a deck in Vegas, we have complete randomness. We're going to shuffle it. In this case, we're just going to shuffle it once, but in alphabetical order to ensure complete fairness here. All right.
Hey guys, are you sure I'm not going first again this time?
I don't know. The house really doesn't like Jacob Wile. Jacob Wile dated the house's sister, and the house is still mad.
It'd be like the Disney debates one of the Goblet of Fire, where Jacob's name shows up, even though he didn't put his name in the first place.
Oh, geez.
Well, gee, I don't know what to tell you, Jacob. Looks like you're fighting this round. Hope you have some stuff prepared on the
fly. I'll do my best.
All right.
I suddenly took ill. Jacob has to take up the mantle. Has to take up the scientific pastry mantle.
Oh God.
He still has to do my ideals, but based solely on the picture representing them.
Exactly.
No other info.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, we ready?
Yo.
Yeah.
All right, main event time. Question number 1. Pitch a new e-ticket attraction to anchor Toy Story Land. So what I'm looking for, guys, is I'm looking for Toy Story Land. We know they got some rides that were developed in one of the various Disney parks. It's basically being brought to other
Studios. Well, I'm sorry. It was for the Disney Studios Paris, and now it's being brought over to Disney's Hollywood Studios.
That's what I'm saying. Initially in Paris, and they're bringing over, and who knows where else it's going to be brought to as the time passes. But yes, it is being currently brought over to Hollywood Studios. Yes. So here are the rides, of course, that have been established. We've heard of so far, of course, aside from everyone's beloved Toy Story Mania. We have the Slinky Dog Zigzag Spin. We have the RC Racer, and we have the Toy Soldiers parachute drop. So those are the 3 rides that we've heard about. So we're looking for something new. We're looking for something like what's the new ride that's going to steal the show? What give us a new ride to add to Toy Story Land, because there's so many good rides promised. What's one more or 2 more in this case? All right, so not one of those rides being brought to the States. We really want to hear in the opening statement, what is your pitch and why is it needed? That's what I want to hear, and the rest just fight it out. But let's go to Pi and hear what his pitch is. Like, what's the title of his pitch?
Well, I call it Playtime Adventure.
All right, Tiki.
My attraction is going to be called Pizza Planet Peril.
Pizza Planet Peril. Are my fellow judges ready?
Yep.
Okay, opening statements.
Okay, so what is perhaps the most iconic scene in Toy Story that they have done in every movie? It's the playtime at the beginning of it. It's what sets the tone. It helps capture the imagination and wonder that makes the connection between the toys and Andy so special and brings audiences' minds back to that special place. You have either more realistic or real-life set scenes with the cardboard boxes and all the toys acting out together in the 1 and 2, and then Toy Story 3, you get to see it come to life, like that picture there, with the exciting chase with Buzz, Woody, and Jessie. So my ride is going to bring that to life. the facades will be the cardboard box buildings that Andy made, so that way it can hide the show building while still keeping with the scale and being from the movie. The ride itself would be like the Ratatouille ride in Paris, where it would be a trackless ride that can be part dark ride and part almost motion simulator with some 3D screens and things like that. And the idea is that you are being put right in the middle as another one of Andy's toys in this playtime adventure with Buzz, Woody, and Jessie. The more real-life stuff, like, say, a Bo Peep figure hanging from a toy fishing pool over a barrel of monkeys, will be done with practical effects. Whereas seeing it through the lens of imagination, the stuff more like the opening from Toy Story 3, can be done with the 3D effects. That way you can get this big, over-the-top, imaginative imagery and this cheesy fun while still having the real-life stuff and the comedy from the earlier movies mixed in there.
Okay, Tiki.
All right, so Pizza Planet Peril, the exterior of this attraction is going to be a giant-sized version of the gas station from Toy Story, because one of the appealing things about Toy Story is that it creates a huge adventure out of a couple blocks of suburbia. And so we're going to have the giant gas pumps and stuff, and that's what we're going to be going around in the queue. And then as we walk in, the main show building is actually going to be themed around a giant Pizza Planet truck. And as you might have guessed, this attraction is going to be all about scale. Much in the tradition of the Ratatouille ride that's going to be coming to Epcot, this attraction is going to be a trackless dark ride that utilizes scale in a very big way. So in Pizza Planet, we're going to be boarding random bits of trash thrown around the Pizza Planet truck, you know, like fries and drinks and, you know, maybe even a traffic cone or two. Those are going to be our ride vehicles to kind of spice up as we're going through the Pizza Planet. There's going to be a whole bunch of different set pieces, different arcade games that we're going to be lost in. There's going to be a set piece with the claw, and eventually the whole thing winds up with you getting put into Sid's backpack, winding up in Sid's room. It's going to be an exciting climax. And most importantly, kind of the elevator pitch is that Pizza Planet is something that is so iconic and so integral to Toy Story. It kind of ties all the Pixar universe together. And what do we have to show for it in the legacy of Disney parks? We have a mediocre pizza place that doesn't even have very many good arcade games or anything. I think Pizza Planet as a concept can be so much more than just mediocre food. I feel like a full-blown e-ticket ride to anchor a Toy Story land is exactly what we need. That's it.
Guys, get ready to kill each other with words.
All right.
All right, so you talk about scale a lot in your idea, but you also have the entrance be a giant gas pump, which is about 8 feet, whereas the scale of people are supposed to be the size of toy soldiers, which are about 8 centimeters. The show building and a lot of the scenes he described, there's no way you could possibly do them with that scale without basically building skyscrapers, even with force perspective.
Okay, well, what I'm pitching is that you don't even see, like, for example, if you're running around an arcade, you wouldn't even see the top of the arcade cabinet. You see, like, the sides of the arcade cabinets. And that's the thing that's playing around with scale, Pi. It's the same way that you do the Ratatouille ride, where it'd be a mix of screens and, you know, much like your attraction, we're using the same technology here. It'd be a mix of screens and physical effects. So, you know, so it wouldn't be exactly, so with the screens, you could show off a lot of these set pieces, much like, for example, as you're going through, you know, there are sections where there's going to be toys involved.
Yeah, but what about, like, you were describing, like, the queue and the rides, vehicles, and the bowling area? Those things can't be 3D screens, and they would have to be things like a giant truck or a giant gas station pump.
That's exactly what I'm pitching, Pi. I'm pitching the Pizza Planet truck literally be the size of a building because it's going to be connected to the show building. And as for the gas station trucks, yeah, you're right. The pumps, yeah, they are going to be about 2 stories tall because that is going to be the size scale there. Also, the gas station pumps are going to be using force perspective. And now I just feel like this is more in tune with the world that Toy Story Land is creating, because Toy Story Land is all about kind of putting you into the perspective of a toy. Whereas I feel like with your idea, it'd be very fun, but at the same time, I feel like it's less involved with the actual Toy Story mythos. Whereas Pizza Planet would be a natural extension of it. It'd kind of be like, you know, on the outskirts of Toy Story Land, much like in the movie. Pizza Planet exists, you know, kind of like in the suburbs, but on the outskirts of the suburbs, kind of like in the downtown area. So there'd be kind of this kinetic flow to it, where I feel like the fantasy elements that you're describing are kind of already at play with Toy Story Midway Mania, where it's a lot of stuff that's, you know, kind of catered to the certain characters and specific aspects. Pizza Planet would be more of an adventure that I feel like Pizza Planet could utilize more physical sets than yours could. I feel like, well, yours has, you know, has a blend of physical effects. I feel like mine would be, like I said, it'd be kind of like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, where it'd be kind of like a mix of, the transitions would be on screens, but then like physically you'd be in the claw machine, and then you'd be kind of like in a whack-a-mole machine, and stuff like that would all be done physically, but then the transitioning stuff would be done, you know, with screens. So it'd be a big mix. I don't know, Pi. It's like, to tell you the truth, I acknowledge that the big difference with you and me is like one kind of utilizes the scale of being a toy, whereas one is just fully in the mind. One is fully in the imagination. And I really don't think we've seen that with the Toy Story attraction so far. The closest we've seen is Buzz Lightyear, but even Buzz Lightyear has the whole queue, whereas you kind of have that vague thing of like your exterior is the toy, you know, the like you described, which I like, which you know, physically connects it to everything. But I don't know exactly what your queue is going to be. Whereas Buzz Lightyear, the whole queue would be kind of like walking around the toy box. I can't really imagine, like, you walk in and then what would be the transition. And we haven't really seen that before with a Toy Story ride, and I don't really want to start now. I feel like Toy Story rides really exist. The best of them exist within this, you know, kind of perspective space where it's all kind of within seeing it from the eyes of a toy. And with the fantasy scenes, I don't really think they're from the eyes of the toy. It's more kind of just a theatrical representation of what it's like for Andy.
All right, okay, guys. I need to clarify two things. First, let me start with Tiki here. Tiki, just so I make sure I'm getting the point you were making earlier. How do you transition in your ride? What specifically is your ride vehicle? I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Well, I got my ride vehicle is like different bits of trash that you would explain around, to like cups and you know, and pizza trays and stuff like that. It'd be like different but trackless ride vehicles. Pi and I are using the same system.
Gotcha. Okay. So Tiki, how do you so basically you're in that ride vehicle and it goes from like one.
Well, like I said, the queue is the gas station, and then the giant Pizza Planet truck would be the show building. So you go into the Pizza Planet truck, which would be the loading area.
Gotcha. All right. Now, Pi, I want to hear. Paint me more of a picture of your ride. Any more details from your ride? Like, tell me. Like, again, I want to hear. You know, paint more of a picture and tell me why how it's different from Tiki's ride.
Well, my one would be very much focused on emulating the playtime scenes, which is the connection between Andy and the toys. It's the motivation for the toys always wanting to go back to Andy, with the idea being that you would enter into these cardboard boxes and then just see Andy's toys just kind of scattered about. So like the queue you have currently for Toy Story Mania, you would board a toy vehicle, which would be your ride vehicle. And then some scenes that would be 3D screens where you're like going past a canyon, or you're seeing Buzz Lightyear shoot lasers, or you're chasing down a train, and then you would flip around and be like flipping you back into the real world. Would you see a practical set of, like, say, either some more like cardboard sets or a one-eyed butt on top of like a stack of Lincoln logs and things like that. And then it would flip you back to the real life, not real life, flip you back to the imagination lens version of it, where you're back into this exciting adventure where it's more like a motion simulator. So you get both the toy side of what's actually going on and the imagination side of the how Andy sees it in his mind. So you would get the practical and the 3D, and you have this big adventure. You even see some things and how they connect between the two, like, say, a toy train on a Hot Wheels track, and then you turn a corner, and it's a real train running through the canyons and things like that.
Okay, Pi, my whole thing with your pitch is it feels fun in its own regard, and I do like that you have that kind of combination between, like, you do sound like you have good transitions there. My whole problem is, like, your pitch sounds a little too similar to Midway Mania. You even admitted it in the queue. And like with Midway Mania, it's very much kind of like that transition from physical to screen, you know, and it's not necessarily fantasy stuff going on in Midway Mania, but like I said, it's very character focused. It's very light. It's very happy. Pizza Planet Peril, the whole point of Pizza Planet Peril, it's in the name, Pizza Planet Peril. It's it would be like it's still a family ride, but it'd be the most thrilling family ride in the Toy Story lineup so far. It'd be the one with the most stakes. It'd be the one where you're actually in a lot of danger throughout the ride, which is honestly something that we've never seen before in a Toy Story ride. Like with Buzz Lightyear, you know, you're fighting against aliens, but there's never really a scene of like high stakes and peril. Pizza Planet would be like a very chaotic sort of you know, where literally like the whole ride things are trying to kill you in a fun, like wacky, crazy Mr. Toad kind of way. And I feel like that kind of differentiates my pitch in, whereas your pitch almost kind of seems like it's Midway Mania with an extra kind of coat of paint to it.
See, I think the similarities to Midway Mania really only exist on the surface, because the theming of Midway Mania is that they're just playing a board game. It doesn't have any emotional significance. It's still playtime, but it's not their connection with Andy that is the emotional core of all the Toy Story movies. Is their connection to the kid, the importance of what toys role is.
Or my ride. Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll start us off. I heard a lot of good things. We got very strong choices. I'm impressed with both pitches, and I want to ride them both like tomorrow. Honestly, I'm very proud of both of these pitches. I really am. There's been a lifelong Toy Story fan. That's yes, Tiki, you could say I'm proud of these boys.
All right.
Anyway, sorry, Pa, it's a running gag. You gotta watch some videos on the show.
Deleted song from Aladdin.
Yeah, it's kind of a running gag, you know, like a lead of like proud. Anyway, that's anyway,
was reinstated the musical though.
really?
Yeah, it's like it's the Broadway musical.
Huh? You know. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so here's where I'm coming down. I heard some really great statements. I feel you both had your points well articulated. You both painted quite a picture. Again, you did have some similarities in your pitches as well. Again, my kind of rides, both of these. But I feel you both had some interesting things to say about Pixar as well. And I think what it really came down to is Pi's pitching a ride that is about the connection between kid and toy. And I think Tiki is pitching a ride that is from the perspective of a toy. And again, both, I want to make it clear, both were shown in the Toy Story franchise. Neither are wrong. Both are interesting. They both were different in that regard. And I did see that come through. But at the end, I think Tiki had a really cutting remark to Pi that I don't think Pi, despite his best efforts, could kind of dig himself out of the quicksand of that comment, where it is very much derivative of Midway Mania, despite the cleverness of the idea. It's not differentiating itself enough from Midway Mania, and I think the peril point that Tiki was making, the fact that it's very in tune with Toy Story Land is going for, with the natural, basically how it's a natural extension. It is very much in the mission statement of the island. I remember watching the bonus feature myself with John Lasseter speaking of, you're from the toy's point of view and like the model, the mock-up and everything. So I think for me, my vote is cast for Tiki. Tiki, I vote that Tiki gets the point. Now we're going to go to Jacob and see what his champion is.
Well, I mean, I'd never actually been on Toy Story Mania. When I actually went there, when I actually went down to Disney World earlier, it's like I didn't really have the opportunity to. But I have seen press footage of it, and I do have to kind of agree with the similarities that Tiki brought up of that though it removes the scoring system and playing a board game, the entire thing does sound very similar to Midway Mania in a way. It's like not that creativity really knocks any points away, but it's if you're going for creativity here, this would definitely be kind of seen as a derivative, like a good. I could see it as being a pretty good replacement for Midway Mania, actually, if they like want to use like reuse some of the same like projection systems and things like that. Plus, I really did like Tiki's argument for the whole like extension of the perspective and like how it feels and how it will feel more natural. It's like how it fits in as part of the land itself. So I'm gonna give Tiki a point as well.
Okay, Sanders, what do you got?
Well, like it definitely, like Jacob, I never really been interested in Toy Story Mania. I've never been on it.
It's not worth the wait. I mean, it's a fun ride. It's just like the wait
That's-
times and it loads slowly. So
That's what I've really come down to. I don't like Toy Story Mania because of all the screens. But with Pie's pitch, I heard that I think if you have a nice combination of screens and practical effects, something like the Frozen ride, and
or Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but sure. I think if you have a nice blend, it works really well, and I think that's how a ride should be. Or even like the Alice in Wonderland ride. That's a great example because there's lots of screens and practical props and things. That's honestly what I loved about Pie's pitch. Honestly, I love both of these because I love the Pizza Planet truck theme. I know that's come up before on Disney debates, I believe, and Pizza Planet has too. I think. Oh no, I'm sorry. Pizza Planet definitely has. But I just feel like Pies is more original. I'm just gonna have to give it to him.
Okay, guys, again, it was a very close and well fought, well figured out and well fought battle. And just looking at the points, looking at the rulings here, I voted for Tiki, Jacob voted for Tiki, Sandy voted for Pie, so the point goes to Tiki with 2-1.
All right.
Well done. Well done.
All right, round 2. What Disney character do you overlay atop an existing Disney attraction? It's kind of the long form of it, folks. Essentially, what pitch a character overlay of an existing ride. So, Pie, what do you got for us?
I have the Enchanted Tiki Room with Maui, specifically the Disney World one, not the Disneyland one.
All right, Tiki.
Okay, and I have Daft Punk in Space Mountain, and Daft Punk is totally Disney characters because they cameoed in Tron Legacy as themselves, so they are in the canon.
And I actually do have a question. Is there a difference between the two Tiki rooms?
Well, for one thing, Disneyland's Tiki Room is longer and the original, whereas Disney World's is a shortened version of the show. And we also still have Carousel of Progress and Country Bears. So Tiki Room is kind of redundant as it is, where none of the three of them have any crowds.
All right.
Okay. I'm sorry. Just for clarity's sake, Tiki, are you saying Tron Legacy with featuring Daft Punk, or are you saying completely Daft Punked?
No. I'm saying like this would be a Space Mountain that's like in the Tron Legacy universe, but the main characters would be Daft Punk.
I just want to clarify that for the folks at home and my fellow judges. Okay. All right, Pie. Whenever you're ready, rock us with an opening statement. Again, just basically justify. Why is this a good idea?
Okay.
And what is it? What's the intention and why is it good?
Okay, so the setup would be that Maui is a big fan of the Tiki Room, the Tropical Serenade. He's a big fan of the show in his universe. So he is trying to join the Tiki Room. You'd have an animatronic Maui with some projections on skin so the tattoos and all could dance on him, as well as a Maui animatronic at it since he can shapeshift into animals. And the whole show is him coming in all like cocky and brag about how he'd be a great addition because he's fantastic. What can I say? Except you're welcome. I'm gonna join your show. Things like that. But through the show, he kind of goes through a mini arc where the Tiki birds tell him that they're a group act. They all work together. All the birds, even the plants, and the room itself. So he learns to be a bit more humble and gets to join the show that way. The appeal would be you could have with the Moana connection, Lin-Manuel Miranda be the one to help rework the songs and the new show, mixing some of the fantastic music from Moana with the fantastic music from the Tiki Room. You would have The Rock able to star, who is perhaps the most charismatic human being on the planet. He is the type of guy who turns almost exclusively the terrible movies that he stars in into not just watchable, but likable movies. And it would just be a great way to revitalize and bring some new energy. And plus, it would fix the mistake of the Iago Zazu version they did, where they came in talking about how the old show was boring and wanted to spice it up. And that angered Disney fans. But now he would be coming in talking about how much he loved the old show. So it'd be a great tribute to the old version while still being able to spice it up. As one final point, there's a Dwayne Johnson Jungle Cruise movie coming out, and there's rumors that they're going to update the Jungle Cruise in Magic Kingdom to be based on that movie. So with that being across the street in Tiki Room, you have almost a Dwayne Johnson mini land. We just need to make the magic carpets into Fast and the Furious, or Jumanji themed. Bit of a joke, but other than that, yeah, now in Tiki Room.
Okay, Tiki, what do you got?
Okay, so Space Mountain has already been proven to work as an attraction, and I'm sorry, Tron. My bad. You see, they're so synonymous with each other. It's like chocolate and peanut butter. Tron, Space Mountain, Daft Punk, Space Mountain. It all works together so well. We just had a very successful Tron ride that's being ported over to Disney World. However, I want to do something a little bit different for Disneyland. And Disneyland Space Mountain has been proven as a very successful testing ground for different overlays. We had the incredibly successful Hyperspace Mountain, which was a Star Wars overlay, which was very cool because it actually told the story of the Battle of Jakku, you know, how we got the giant crashed Star Destroyer from The Force Awakens on Jakku. And then, of course, SandyClaws was with me. He was riding with me when I experienced Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy, which is, to this day, the scariest thing I've ever been on. And so Daft Punk Space Mountain is going to follow in that grand tradition. It's going to be set in the world of Tron. It's going to be set in the hyper-futuristic nightclub that Daft Punk runs and DJs at in the universe of Tron Legacy. The whole thing is going to be an attack on the nightclub. Tron is in the middle of the mountain, or I'm sorry, Daft Punk are in the middle of the mountain, and you can see them from a lot of different angles as you're going through the mountain. They're just two animatronics, and they're mixing up the score. The main song that's used in the score is The Game Has Changed. That's about a 3-minute long song, kind of goes with the length of the coaster. However, with Daft Punk, of course, Daft Punk being mix masters, you can have different samples of different Tron Legacy songs being played, because the whole point is it's a club being invaded, and Daft Punk's like, oh shit, now we have to spice it up. Now we have to remix this. Anyways, so I feel like not only would this fill the quota of bringing a Tron overlay into Disneyland without having to spend because Disneyland's much more confined. We don't really have a lot of room for different attractions, and there's a lot that can be done with Tomorrowland outside of Tron. So not only would this fill the Tron quota, but it would also add a completely unique rock and roller coaster style ride that's set firmly in the Disney universe. I feel like this would be a perfect addition.
All right, boys, get ready to duke it out. And a little word of advice, Pies, because it's been a while. Again, really get in there. Really, don't take any pity on Tiki here. Just wail on them indiscriminately. Like, get a bag of oranges or bricks and just go verbally and go to town on them. All right, just don't be get in there. Get in the cut. Don't lay in it. All right.
Fair enough. I'll do my best to make him cry. Right. That's the new goal.
Remember
All right.
me. Okay.
All right. So, can you just imagine the reaction to people on the West Coast, Disneyland fans, when they realize that the East Coast is getting a whole new Tron attraction and they're just getting another overlay?
You see, Pi, I know the local Disneyland crowd, all right? I know the local Disneyland crowd. And to them, they would not like the fact that they'd be getting the third iteration of a clone. To them, they would like the fact that they'd be getting an original experience, especially for those juicy, sweet AP holders out there. And especially because it'd be an overlay where if they don't like the overlay, it's not a permanent attraction that's going to be, you know, like for the next 10 plus years we're going to be stuck with. That's the whole point of an overlay. And frankly, I don't feel like Tron Legacy is a popular enough movie to really justify a full attraction to begin with. But I do think Tron in its own right is a popular enough IP to justify an overlay with. So I think this is a perfect solution here.
I like how you're already planning on getting rid of the attraction. That's a nice touch. Really have a lot of faith in it there.
Okay, it's an overlay, so that by its own definition kind of implies that it's not a permanent addition.
True, but the example we were given was Stitch's Great Escape, which I think has been around longer than Alien Encounter was.
You really want to hang your hat on that?
All right, fair enough. I'm not going to try and defend Stitch's Great Escape.
Speaking of hanging your hat on terrible attractions, I don't care if this, you know, redeems Under New Management. The fact of the matter is Under New Management was a terrible idea. And frankly, putting characters into the Tiki Room in general is a terrible idea. I just don't think it works. And I think especially with Maui, it'd just be kind of a culture clash. Because with the Tiki Room, you have those beautiful wood-carved representations of the gods and goddesses out in the garden. I'm not sure if you have those same gods and goddesses out in the Tiki Room in Disney.
We actually don't.
Okay, well, you have representations like with the there's still visual cues there. There's still visual cues of like, whereas with Maui, I feel like Maui is just a little too cartoony with the Tiki Room. Also, I don't really like the idea of him being a fanboy of the Tiki Room. I feel like that just sort of like, it almost kind of leans into like the opposite direction of Under New Management. It almost kind of feels like it overcompensates for the fact that Under New Management was insulting to the Tiki Room. And I don't know. I also just think the stereotype of the Disney nerd is kind of like a little bit like, you know, I don't know.
Well, Maui's character is someone who's very easily excited by things, who's very much a fan of music and singing and dancing and production and things like that. And as far as cultures and things like that go, very few movies had done as much research into culture as Moana did on Polynesian culture. The same culture Enchant Tiki Room is meant to emulate. They might have to do a little bit of reworking to blend them together more seamlessly, but let's face it, in Moana, they did a song in a language that only like 1,000 people speak just to have it be accurate to culture. You don't think they could put that same care into integrating Maui into it?
I just feel like it's not so much about the culture, it's about the tone. The Tiki Room has a very specific tone to it that, while fun and lighthearted, is not necessarily cartoony per se. I always equate the Tiki Room to a silly symphony. It's got a beautiful, kind of gorgeous aesthetic to it. And while there are kind of gags and jokes within, I feel like incorporating that much humor into it would kind of be taken away from the original show. Whereas Daft Punk, also I feel like with the overlay itself, I feel like a problem with doing an overlay of the Tiki Room is that it would have to be more permanent. Whereas my argument, like, yeah, sure, you can say that I'm kind of hedging my bets and saying, like, if people don't like it, get rid of it. But that is kind of the point of an overlay, is like, it's something that's not going to be permanent. And with Space Mountain, I feel like it's much more easy to do an overlay of Space Mountain because you can use a lot of projection effects. You can use you can swap out the soundtrack. Whereas with an animatronic show, you're kind of stuck with the setup there.
Yeah, it would be a little bit more permanent, but with Space Mountain, all the overlays they've done have had a reason, like promoting a new Star Wars movie or with Halloween. I don't think you've really justified why they would change it over to Tron. It's not an unpopular attraction like Tiki Room, which could use a breath of new life. It's something that, with all the projections, could easily be updated to different Disney movies as time goes on. Like they could easily do tying in with Marvel movies or Infinity War or The Wrinkle in Time when that's coming out, or go back to Hyperspace Mountain whenever new Star Wars is coming out.
First of all,
a new Tron movie isn't coming.
So please no Wrinkle of Time, Space Mountain. Just please no. Just God no.
I'm just using examples that Disney has some other sci-fi movies that they would actually want to promote.
And
with
we don't know that Disney
even
doesn't
not necessarily
have
that one
development. We don't know that. I mean, I feel like the fact that they have a Tron attraction that's being ported over to Disney World is a good sign that they're at least still interested in the IP. So
the star of the movie actually said. The star of the movie actually said that since Tomorrowland failed, they're not doing it. If they were going to do another Tron, he even said they would reboot it instead of do a Tron 3, which would mean that the characters you're basing this around, Daft Punk's characters, wouldn't be in the movie. Or even in the universe.
Okay.
That was interesting.
All right. I'm going to keep it simple. My vote is for Pi.
Not surprised.
I'm just saying he came in for the kill.
That was painful. I love
that point, but it was honestly the basically Tron didn't quite justify his existence. That's kind of the path he was kind of going on. I think he made all the right points about how it is. You could overlay a bunch of different stuff that wouldn't necessarily feel in tune with it, like Maui would with the Tiki Room. That's kind of what I was hearing from Pi. So for me, my vote, my stone is cast in the direction of Pi on my cake. All right, Jacob, how you feeling?
Okay. Because I honestly feel that Pi gave more reasons as to why the Tiki Room would have better synergy with its actual attraction. I mean, granted, it's more kind of like low key than Tomorrowland. Not in Tomorrowland, Space Mountain. Sorry. But I honestly feel like by honoring the legacy of the Tiki Room and moving forward, like breathing fresh air into something that needs. I mean, Space Mountain is like sure the hyperspace. I mean, sure Space Mountain has all its stuff, but it doesn't really need an overlay. And Daft Punk really isn't, other than being in Tron, and isn't really justified for being part of it if it's already getting a ride. Until Moana gets its own right, I think Maui would be a perfect fit for the Tiki Room. So Pi, you're welcome.
Woo!
All right, it's another for Pi. It's like we're in the Senate right now. Okay, Sandy, what do you got?
All right, well, I started out with Pi. I thought, wow, Maui and the Tiki Room, that'd be such a good fit. And then Tiki started giving me some reasons why that wouldn't work as well. And then I started liking the Space Mountain idea a little bit more. And then right at the very end, Maui and the Enchanted Tiki Room just captured my heart. And I feel like everyone's been saying it. I feel that just Daft Punk, it just kind of be like a decision, because Daft Punk, other than having a cameo and doing the music for Tron, they don't have any kind of affiliation with Disney. So it'd be kind of like okay, what's this for? Just kind of a random overlay for no reason at all. Where Moana, of course, as everyone knows, is a Disney property, an original Disney property, and they're both from the same culture. They both have the same. They don't have the exact same type of flavor to them. Like Tiki said, I love the way you said that, Tiki, how the Enchanted Tiki Room is kind of like a silly symphony, where because that's exactly how it is. I describe it the exact same way. I don't think it's a perfect marriage, Maui and the Tiki Room, but I think it fits a whole lot better than Daft Punk and just Disney in general. So it's my choice is for Pi.
Okay, it's Pi all across the board, which means Pi gets the point.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah, it's 1-1
I don't
right
like
now.
arguing against Tron. It's my favorite movie.
Oh boy.
Okay. Round.
You should have
This is the round, folks, where our fighters are tired. They put their best into the first 2 rounds, and now they're bruised, beaten, and just like, oh, God. This was a mistake.
And now they have to.
What was that?
Yeah. Oh, hello, Jacob. Yeah. All right. Anyway. Okay, round 3. What bad Disney film would make the very best ride? All right. Pi. What do you?
As you can see from the poster, I got Chicken Little.
Okay. Tiki, rock us with your choice.
I've got the cinematic opus known as Home on the Range.
Great. Okay. Pi, opening statement.
All right, so when starting on this, I looked at the most famous Disney ride based on the bad movie, or at least forgettable movie, forgotten movie, and that's Splash Mountain. And that one does 2 very smart things. It cherry picks the best parts of the movie, the ones that would work the best, while ignoring the rest, like the casual and sometimes not casual racism. And then it also makes sure to set itself apart from the movie, doing its own thing, so it can stand on its own. It's Splash Mountain. It's not a Song of the South ride. So with the Chicken Little attraction, there's a lot of opportunity to do the same thing. Taking some of the stuff that really worked well and kind of going your own way with it. Like, for instance, what I would base it around would be the in-universe movie based on Chicken Little at the end of the film, where they have Adam West voicing this big buff space hero version of Chicken Little. I think they called him Ace. And it was this exciting, cheesy space adventure sequence. And the other thing that worked in Chicken Little, at least sometimes, was the snappy over-the-top humor, which maybe doesn't work as well for the entire movie, would work really well for a theme park attraction, possibly as a replacement for Star Tours. Even because it would be an easy thing to redo, because it's just animated. You don't need any big stars, because the only big star involved was Adam West, who, for obvious reasons, won't be able to be a part of it. So you won't need any big stars to schedule around. You could just animate it in-house. The Imagineers could have tons of freedom to do what they want with a fun, over-the-top, cartoony space adventure.
Okay.
Also, talking animals like Splash Mountain.
Okay. All right, Tiki. Opening statement.
Oh man, I have so many things I can say wrong about Chicken Little. So Home on the Range is not Chicken Little. That's a plus. Home on the Range, look, a lot of vile's been spewed against Home on the Range, and I've never really gotten why it's that hated. It's definitely not in the upper pantheon of Disney movies by any stretch, but I feel like outside of a couple bits of crude humor, it's a pleasant enough movie. It's got a decent, Western adventure vibe to it. It's kind of a throwback to stuff like Pecos Bill. Which is exactly where my pitch kind of comes into play. Because I feel like Disneyland's Frontierland and Disney World's Frontierland really both, like Frontierland in general, outside of Paris's interpretation with Thunder Mesa and Phantom Manor and everything like that, Frontierland needs a little bit more Disney in it. Because we have Thunder Mountain, of course. Thunder Mountain's kind of like the staple of Frontierland at this point. I feel like there should be a ride that's kind of like in between the intensity levels of something like Gadget's Go Coaster or Goofy's Barnstormer and the intensity level of something like Big Thunder Mountain. Home on the Range would be a perfect fit. Home on the Range, obviously just brimming with Frontier atmosphere in it. You could have the exterior of the ride, the Alameda Slim's hideout. You could have a crazy psychedelic sequence based on the yodeling, hypnotizing sequence. You could have a sequence based on Buck's fantasies. Just all kinds of fun, crazy Western adventures that you could get yourselves into. The main vehicle would be very simple mine carts. And like I said, it'd be kind of a fun, you know, it wouldn't really be derivative of Thunder Mountain. It'd be kind of like the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train equivalent to Thunder Mountain. So that's kind of my pitch. Just kind of like bring some energy and bring some family-friendly life into Frontierland.
All right, folks, it's time to fight over the worst of the worst. That's right, folks. We're going to argue who's the best of the worst of the worst. So, guys, fight it out and do your worst yet somehow best. Go on.
If you're doing anthropomorphic animals, the only IP to do an anthropomorphic animal thing in would be Zootopia. I mean, come on. Like, Zootopia has completely rendered Chicken Little completely irrelevant. There's absolutely no reason to do something based on Chicken Little. Whereas with Home on the Range is actually one of the few Western franchises Disney has that's, you know, like in the past 50 years. Like, what are they going to do? Are we going to see a Home on the Range Frontierland ride, or are we going to see a Lone Ranger Frontierland ride? Frankly, Pie, I feel like it's a little insulting to have that Adam West character, you know, like have a character like drug out from a terrible movie, you know, probably not one of the high points of Adam West's career so soon after the man passed. I don't know. It's something about that just doesn't really feel right to me. It almost feels like, all right, Adam West, you're dead. Now we can kind of use any character we want from you. I don't know. It doesn't really sit well with me. Just there's so many things that are wrong with Chicken Little. I feel like at least with Home on the Range fits perfectly into Frontierland.
I mean, they still use Genie everywhere. They didn't even pause using Genie after Robin Williams' death. And that was much more associated with the actor than Ace at the end of Chicken Little was. This would be very easy to separate a bit from Adam West's legacy and do it in a tasteful way. And also, you talk about Home on the Range not being Chicken Little. People at least remember Chicken Little. I don't think I've heard a single person say
Chicken Little because of how terrible it is. People don't remember Home on the Range because at the end of the day, it's not really that bad of a movie. Like, Chicken Little is much more infamous than Home on the Range is, even though not many people like Home on the Range. I don't think anyone likes Chicken Little.
It's at least memorable, and it was popular enough that it got 2 different video games when it came out, not just a movie tie-in game. They did a sequel specifically focused on Ace, the part I'm talking about, and the part that's probably the most fondly remembered. And you talk about Zootopia, but Chicken Little has, especially when it goes with more the sci-fi elements, a very distinct and different art style from the Robin Hood style visuals of Zootopia. It's completely different.
It's in an urban city setting, Pie. I mean, that's still what it is.
Well, I mean, in this ride, it'll be in a sci-fi space setting.
More small town for the record. It's not exactly anyway.
Yeah, the movie itself is small town, and the part my ride's going after is in space. So there would be no city or city-based animals at all. And also,
why would you do an extension at this point? Like, Tomorrowland, there's so many different things you can do with Tomorrowland. Like I said, the reason why we need a Home on the Range attraction is because there's no other things we can do with Frontierland. Frontierland is something that needs an attraction. It's something that needs some new blood. It's like, and with Tomorrow, it's like, I don't see the point. It's like, I don't feel like Chicken Little would not fit in with Tomorrowland any better than something like Monsters Inc. would fit in with Tomorrowland. People already complain about Monsters Inc. not fitting in. It's just, don't really want to make Cartoonland into like the slightly sci-fi version of Fantasyland.
I think bringing up Monsters Inc. is a interesting thing, because I actually had that somewhat in mind with this. Because while, yeah, Monsters Inc. as a property doesn't fit at all, that brings a very different side to Tomorrowland, being very fun and humorous, and yes,
But
a
Tomorrowland's not
little
supposed to be like that.
cartoony as a
Though.
way.
It's fine if we have one or two attractions that are like that, but the whole of Tomorrowland should not be like that. The whole of Tomorrowland should be about exploration and discovery and possibilities, not herp-de-dur, talking animals, sky is falling, herp-de-dur,
Okay.
Zach Braff,
All right.
Spice World.
All right. Okay, well, here's what I'm coming down on it, guys. It's a really touch and go around this one because I feel you both made some points, and you both, I think, I don't know. I feel basically I have to break down the question in a thing like this because again, it is a question. You know, it's what bad Disney film would make the best ride? Keywords bad Disney film, and another keyword best ride. So again, it's kind of an enigma in itself, and I think you both have very interesting points. And it's I'm conflicted because I'm flip flopping here. But I'm going to go with I'm compelled to go with Pi, but it's close. I'm compelled to go with Pi for my vote this round because honestly, I feel Tiki at the end. I think he started to really to sell me on the ride. It was in Tiki's corner for the majority, but then as it went on, I'm realizing as it goes on, Tiki's really saying, "Hey, my movie's not really bad." His movie's he really laid on that Chicken Little is a far worse movie. And again, while he's starting on good on a ride, Pi's presenting me with more ride details, and he's again, Tiki's kind of starting to make his points for him. So I'm going with Pi, but again, it could have kept going back and forth in terms of that. So my vote is for Pi. I don't know if anyone else is going to share my opinion on that, but we'll see. So Jacob, who are you voting for?
I kind of missed part of one side of the argument due to my computer freezing up.
Oh, right.
But I guess I can. So I don't know if my vote should count or anything.
I'll tell you what. Let's how about Sandy goes, and then you get some time to stew on it. All right. We'll see if maybe you pick up some stuff from what I've said and what Sandy says. Sandy, what do you got? Who are you voting for?
Home on the Range. I think I think Frontierland needs Tiki, were you pitching this as a dark ride or not?
I was pitching it as kind of like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train style, like mostly dark ride with some small coaster sections in it.
Yep. And then yes, I think Frontierland is in need of that. I think that's what it needs. I've always wanted a nice dark ride, like something like Splash Mountain in Frontierland, because as we all know, there is not a Disney park on the face of the earth that has a dark ride in it. I don't think. Am I correct on that?
That does not have a dark ride in it.
Yeah, I'm not counting Big Thunder Mountain, which has dark ride segments in it, but
Splash Mountain is in Frontierland and Disney World.
It is okay.
And Phantom Manor is in Paris.
That's right. Okay.
But Phantom Manor is kind of like a different scale than what I'm pitching, though.
Yeah, well, nonetheless, I think Home on the Range would make a lot better of a choice because Chicken Little, that movie, it never sat right with me. I find all of the characters really annoying. Just by looking at the poster there, they all seem just so annoying.
Look at that chicken smug face.
No, I hate that pig in the back and that stupid fish. The characters on the Home on the Range poster, at least they look fun. They don't look annoying. It just looks like goofy fun. I think it's a better idea. Home on the Range. That's my final option.
All right, Jacob, do you think you have enough to go on, or would you like a few more? Want me to recap some details for you, or do you think you're informed enough to make a decision?
I don't think I missed too much. I mean, I think I can probably make a good guess, make a good pick.
All right. Well, their fate is in your hands, so go nuts.
All right. Honestly, though, I didn't hear a lot of ride details for Home on the Range. I honestly do think that. I honestly do agree with Tiki's points in that it kind of does lend itself to a whole whole attraction better than Chicken Little does. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting that it's a whole Western versus sci-fi kind of thing here going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, that is cool. I didn't think of that. That is cool.
I mean, Disney really used to do like a Western meets sci-fi kind of ride.
Cowboys and Aliens, the Disney version.
Yes, but honestly, though, I mean, I think I'll go with Tiki for this one. I mean, though I do agree with Dragon, he based more of his argument on the actual, not Dragon. I mean, Sandy on this. I mean, not Dragon. Sorry. Tiki really based more of his argument on the actual movie. It's like he is right. It lent itself more better to a ride, and like has had more of a better argument as to why the movie would fit as a ride rather than better than Chicken Little would. So I'm gonna vote for Tiki.
Okay, so the vote is I voted for Pi, and my other two cohorts voted for Tiki, which means Tiki gets the point. It is Tiki with 2 points, Pi with 1, and we're about to enter the speed round. Now, here's what I want you guys to do. I'm going to need about less than a minute here. What I want you to do, Tiki, well, actually, one of my judges here is to walk them through the 30 second, 15-second thing and plug some stuff, and I'll be right back.
Well, wait, Dragon. We also need to do the flip the coin.
Oh, certainly, yes. Let's do that. Sure. Thank you for calling me on that. Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
We'll do that. Then we'll do the little mini minute break thing.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Who wants to opt for the dreaded coin? We're gonna go chronological here. Pi, do you want to risk?
Yeah, why not? I'm a gambling man.
Well, wait, Dragon. You might need to explain the coin to Pi.
Well, I explained the opening, but I'll explain again by all means. Simple, folks. You coin will flip if it's heads. Pi gets a point. If it's tails, Pi loses a point. And he has the option. He doesn't have to do this. He has the option to.
Like I said, I'm a gambling man. I'll go for it.
All right, Pi's ballsy. Let's see what he gets.
Oh.
Is it too late to change my mind?
Yeah. Unfortunately, so Pi right now, don't get it wrong. He still has a if he's on his A game, he's got a chance. So let's.
And now Tiki's gonna go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah.
Okay. If the gods the gods are on Tiki's side. Tiki has 3 points. Pi has Zippola. He's got.
So Pi has to win all 3 of the speed round questions, essentially.
Yeah. I angered the Tiki gods by adding Maui in.
See, I told you it was a bad idea, Pi. I told you it didn't fit.
Okay, guys, I'll be right back. Guys, just judges walking through the speed round time parameters and plug some stuff. All right, be right back.
Okay. So we're not actually doing the speed rounds. Then we're just walking you guys through the layout.
Yeah, you know what? Do you want me to just do it? I don't know why.
Yeah. Why don't you do it, Tiki?
All right. So essentially, I don't know why he said. Anyways, So essentially, folks, it's going to be a 30-second opening statement, 15-second rebuttal. We cut out the closing statement because this is a speed round, for God's sake. We have to have pressure. So 30-second opening statement, 15-second rebuttal. And whoever answers first has to go first. Got that, Pi?
Yeah.
Okay. Sandy, would you like to plug your podcast, Sandy?
I guess I can. So to anyone watching, I host a podcast over on my channel, Youch Films. That's YOUCH Films, where where Tiki, Jacob, Dragon, myself all talk with various voice acting guests and film and animation guests. We've had such people such as Linda Ballantyne, Tim Hodge, John Dilworth,
Matt Hill,
the voice of Ed from Ed and Eddie, all on the podcast. Wonderful people. I highly encourage anyone who's interested in anything of that sort to go check that out. There's a lot of great stuff to be heard. They share a lot of great voice acting tips and things that they've learned. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Oh, you're back. All right.
Yes. Okay. You guys ready to kick off the speed round?
Oh yeah. Just to clarify, if I even get one of these questions, then that ends it.
It does. So we'll see how it goes for Pi here. Pi's got to really be on his game. We'll see if he can do it. All right, and you explain the time parameters. We're all good?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna hit you with an interesting one. Simple, yet puzzling. All right.
I love how cool you sounded when you said that, Try again.
Anyway, what Disney character should be the technical difficulty / evacuation voice for the Disney parks?
Oh. Oh.
Whoever speaks first must
Jiminy
go first.
Cricket.
Jiminy
Okay,
Cricket.
Pi has Jiminy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, that's I don't know why this is so tough for me.
At least over. I never thought how many Disney characters there are. Actually.
This is for an evacuation, Dragon?
Yeah, or just basically anytime something goes wrong, like technical difficulty / evacuation, like please exit the Disney parks, that sort of thing. Like, anytime a ride, like I'm sorry, the ride's no longer working, that sort of thing. That's a Disney character. The whole park.
How about Donald Duck? Can you imagine the
Don't let
confusion?
him. Don't throw out suggestions. He's got to think of it on his own.
And honestly, that probably wouldn't help. Honestly, that probably wouldn't help in an evacuation situation.
That's my point.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Dr. Facilier.
Ooh, okay.
Interesting choice.
Okay, so Pi, whenever you... I'm sorry, Jacob, you were saying?
It's like a tip of the hand from Dr. Facilier.
And my friends from the other side. Okay.
We're not Keith David, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I would very much like to be Keith David. I would be the president within Rick and Morty, but I am not Keith David. So, last time I looked in the mirror, I don't think I passed for Keith. I came close. I came inches within being Keith David, but you know what? Darn the luck.
If you're really that close to being Keith David, that's terrifying.
Anyway, okay. So Pi, whenever you start speaking, that's when the clock winds down.
Okay. So, in an emergency, the most important thing by far is for everyone to remain calm and for everyone to have a clear voice to listen to. For one thing, Jiminy Cricket is very clearly recognizable as Disney. He's one of the few generic characters like Mickey and Tinkerbell who just exudes Disney from everywhere, as well as someone you can always trust for good, safe advice. The type of person you want walking you through an emergency, keeping you calm and telling you the smart, practical thing to do. He's safety.
So, Keith David has the goddamn best voice out of any Disney character ever, and that's why he is the one and only voice to do the safety spiel. I feel like I don't even have to say anything else. Like, Jiminy Cricket's corny as fuck, and nobody even watches Pinocchio anymore. And I'm just saying, like, kids are raised on stuff like Moana and Frozen. They're not raised on stuff like Pinocchio. Whereas Keith David, his voice is just so soothing and sultry and just...
And the mulch shed a single tear.
Okay. So Keith David has a great voice, but we're not talking about Keith David. We're talking about his character, Dr. Facilier. In an emergency or when something's going wrong, you want someone you can trust to lead you. His character is inherently untrustworthy and lying constantly. That's kind of his whole thing, lying.
Ooh.
But he's got such a good voice, though.
He has a great
voice. I love his voice. I love that man's voice so much. I know I've lost this round.
Okay, we're gonna continue.
Do we have to go through the? Can we just give it to Pi and move on?
Real quick. Well, you don't have to explain, but it's gonna list it off. Okay, keep it quick. Okay, my vote is for Pi.
Oh Jacob. God, that was a terrible idea.
My vote is for Pi as well for numerous reasons. As soon as Tiki picked Dr. Facilier, I knew he was doomed.
Okay, just to clarify,
thanks, Jacob.
Pi's opening statement was amazing.
Yeah.
I agree with Tiki in that he lost.
hey, Piapalooza, it's a paella night, and Pi as the first as a point on the board. Hooray!
I do admire your use of Keith David, though. If you could have just said Keith David, you would have beat me.
I mean, it was like I was just trying to think of the Disney character with the single best voice, and that's what I came up with. But then, yeah, like you're right, Dr. Facilier is like one of the least trustworthy Disney characters.
I think Woody would have also made a good choice.
Oh my god, yes.
Or Buzz. Buzz would have been great.
Oh yeah.
Either can't miss.
Can I tell a real quick story about Woody?
Really quick.
Okay, real quick.
I used to work at a movie theater, and one time we had the power go out on Halloween. So I got to evacuate a theater full of people dressed as Woody the Cowboy.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That's great.
Yeah, so that was fun. It was Woody the Cowboy and Iron Man
awesome.
evacuating everyone.
That sounds like the best crossover. Anyway, okay. All right. Also, I just want to say, Pi said all the right things with Jimmy I wanted to hear, so that's why I give Pi a point. Okay, moving on. Next question. Okay. Okay. What piece of any Disney attraction do you take home and display? Like a piece can be anything, doesn't matter the size. Just what piece? Like what part of a ride do you take home and display?
Choose wisely. Choose wisely.
The Enchanted Tiki Fountain.
Oh, really, Tiki?
Madame Leota.
Okay.
The fountain versus a ball.
All right.
So Disneyland's Tiki Room is so awesome that we have the Tiki Fountain, whereas what does Disney World have? Just like fucking fog or whatever. But anyways, I digress. The Tiki Fountain would serve as the ultimate decorative item for any occasion. Imagine placing this thing in your backyard or your patio, and it's got you could control the water functionality on it. You could have the water like raise and lower. It's the ultimate freaking centerpiece. It's a perfect collector's item.
Madame Leota has the advantage of being small enough that you could basically fit her into any room of your house or put her in any kind of display case. It's something you can have inside your house where you can actually see it, because how often do you really spend outside at like garden parties and things like that? And not to mention, Haunted Mansion is probably the Disney ride with the biggest cult following and the most merchandise. But no one would have Madame Leota, the most famous thing and the biggest bragging rights for any Disney fan.
Okay, but yeah, if you remove Madame Leota from the Haunted Mansion, then she's not in the Haunted Mansion. If you remove the Tiki Fountain from the Tiki Room, it's the Disney World Tiki Room. So there's heresy in taking away Madame Leota from the Haunted Mansion in and of itself. That's a crime.
I am selfish and will take it anyways. Ha ha ha, take that, everyone. And let's face it, are you really gonna argue that the Disneyland version, the Walt Disney original, would be just as good if it was like the Walt Disney World version, the lame abbreviated one? It's not.
Okay, I'm casting my stone. My stone goes to Pie.
Okay.
Why is that?
Oh, that is honestly he really made the point with how you can display it anywhere within the house versus mainly pointing out that you need essentially a garden party to really fully appreciate the Tiki found. He also kind of took one of Tiki's own points. Well, I mean, something that was broad, but I wouldn't say he took one of Tiki's own points. He basically brought up the fact that it's taking the superior, the different versions of the Tiki room between world and land.
Okay.
All right, Jacob.
This is a tough one.
It's a toughie.
I kind of agree with the heresy statement from Tiki, because even then they could probably still replace either of these if they were somehow miraculously gone. Though he said any size, I mean, and I guess practicality isn't a realistic
Can you
factor.
imagine someone trying to steal the fountain?
Imagine someone trying to steal Madame Leota. They have to get out of their car. And
I'm just saying, like that's a little more practical. Like you can at least picture that in your mind's eye.
Honestly, I'd love to see the movie of like the theft of both of those. To be quite frank, I'd be down for that.
If you tried to steal Madame Leota, you'd fall into the pit between.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It'd be like a board and everything, like a heist plan. Both would make for a good movie.
Ocean's 55.
The Great Haunted Mansion robbery. So I'll probably have to go with. This is a tough decision. I'll go with Pie.
All right.
Okay, that's 2 for Pie. Sandy.
Well, I personally, I just don't think the Tiki Room fountain was a very good idea. I think something, like maybe one of the, like a ride vehicle from Alice in Wonderland or Dumbo. I think that would have been a little bit more classy, and would attract more attention. Plus, it's a little bit more manageable, a little bit more practical. You can put that in your house. In fact, I've seen someone put one of the Dumbo ride vehicles inside their living room, or replica, anyways. I think Pies is more practical, and I think that his prop of choice would be valued a whole lot more.
All right, look at Pie making a comeback.
Okay, Pie,
Cool.
Pie has 2 versus Tiki's 3. If he gets this next one, I have a very exciting tiebreaker. Well, let's just say, it's a surprise. What kind of tiebreaker I have in case we need it, in case we need to. But we'll see if we need to. Because again, if Pie doesn't get this, it's over for him. Okay, you guys ready? I saved the most profound one for the official last here.
Okay.
All right. May God have mercy on your souls. All right, there we go.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Yes. Okay. What aspect and or quality? What aspect / quality? That sounds better. What aspect defines a successful attraction?
The environments.
God damn it! You beat me to it. Ah, God.
Lots of screens. That's Universal's recipe.
It's a great Sandy impression you do, Tiki.
I can do a good Gromit impression.
Well, that's too good, Jacob. Come on.
Yeah.
That's scarily. You're going to put that poor voice actor out of work.
It's like, you guys want to hear it again?
No, don't show off.
All right.
It's unbecoming.
Honest to God, I really like. Atmosphere is it.
Okay, atmosphere.
So honestly, Wallace and Gromit does sound
No,
pretty cool.
I'm saying like atmosphere and the environment are kind of the same thing. So like,
Okay, let me clarify. Pi, how would you define environment? Just don't get into like a whole thing about it. Just like how would you like basically differentiate? Would you differentiate atmosphere from environment?
I wouldn't differentiate atmosphere from environment, Dragon.
If we wanted to differentiate them, we could differentiate by the atmosphere being sort of more the feeling the ride gives you, whereas the environments would be more the scenery and the music and all that tying together. But they are kind of really similar.
Yeah, because environment is really all that a ride is. I mean, some people say like, he has to have a good story, but really, story doesn't matter because there's so many good rides.
Okay, I'm gonna go with pace. I'm gonna go with pace.
Okay,
Are you sure?
Ooh.
I mean, no, I'm not sure because my pick would have been environment. But...
Okay, environment versus pace.
Okay.
All right. Whenever you're ready. Remember, for all the marbles, so don't screw up.
No pressure.
Don't give them all the pressure in the world.
Well, to start, I can't remember his name because I'm horrible at names, but there's the famous Imagineer who's quoted as saying that environment is everything in a Disney ride. That's why I never made a Robin Hood dog ride, because it would have been a boring environment. Just trees and stone buildings. Environment is what sells you. People want to go to Neverland, to Wonderland, the 100-Acre Woods. It's why the Frozen attraction is so underwhelming to a lot of people, because the animatronics are fantastic and some of the snow environments are cool. But at the end of the day, Elsa's Ice Castle isn't an iconic environment.
Can I, before my time starts, can I just like fact check his Imagineer? Or do I have to do that within my allotted time?
Jacob, could you Jacob, do you think you'd be able to fact check his guy?
What was the quote?
Oh my god.
I can't remember the exact
Okay, you know what?
Just something I've seen around the board.
Hold on. It's Tony Baxter there. All right. So
okay, Tony Baxter. I knew it was one of the big ones, but I couldn't remember who.
Okay. I just fact checked, Dragon. All right, it's not anything with my argument. Okay.
All right, fine.
I just want to put it out there. Okay.
Thank you.
So the environment is what sells an attraction. The pacing is what makes an attraction. And the important thing about pacing is that every brand of attraction has a different level of pacing to it. And that's what makes Disney kind of stand out from the rest. You're not wasting time in environments that you don't really want to be in. You're not, I give it to Pi. Can we just move on? I'm done. Just give it to Pi.
All right. Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Let's go to the break glass. I'm sorry. It's like I can't fight against atmosphere. It's like literally all my. It's like, oh yeah. Anyways. Just give it to Pi.
So look, there's the very special tiebreaker we got. So it's tied right now, guys. It's 3-3. Big night for all of us, I'm sure. In honor of our
wait, I'm Dragon 3-3. I thought Pi had 2 points.
I'm saying now he got the third point. They're tied.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, all right.
There we go. Anyway, so it's tied. It's deadlocked right now. So this little tie-breaking opportunity here, which in light of having 3 judges, I thought I'd present 3 options here. So here, you guys. Here's the decision to make. Basically, it's like a door number 1, 2, and 3 option here. Okay. Option number 1, we flip for it. We go back to the dreaded coin to decide. Basically, it's not going to be like who gets a point or loses a point. It's just going to be who calls head, who calls tails, to see who gets the point.
Mm-hmm.
That's option number 1. Option number 2, just based on the whole night, based on like the fight, you guys, based on the performance of Tiki and judges, we'll decide. Based on the performance of the entire night. Option 3, we break glass. We do the traditional break glass case emergency. I 3 guys, throw. Let's just say a simple yet a simple yet iconic question. Basically, the break glass case emergency question, which is a simple one.
Let's do this. Let's do 3.
Yeah, I'd vote for that one too. Sounds more fun.
The question definitely sounds more fair.
Okay. All right, I guess some people are afraid of the house tonight. Okay. All right.
The coin didn't work for me last time. Let's not do that.
All right. Okay, but it's
Yeah, I sympathize with you, Pi, because there are several times when it worked for me, and there are like times like, okay, let's do it. Ah, crap! I don't have any points anymore. Same with the randomizer. I always seem to be picked first.
Yeah, this is
Google
kind of
hates Jacob.
interesting.
Sorry.
all right.
I'm just saying I sympathize.
Okay, very simple, but you guys got to pay close attention. It's a quick draw question. You guys got to, like, the minute you hear this, after I say the second option, you guys, whoever says it first gets it, all right? Okay. What is the best song within an attraction?
Oh.
Yeah, right, it's quick draw now. Grim Grinning Ghost, or It's a Small World.
Grim
Grim
Grin
Ghost.
Judges, who said it first?
Should we flip the coin?
No, it's with you. Sandy, Jacob.
I'm surprised you didn't go with Pirates of the Caribbean. That seems a little bit more fair because they're both in the same type of line of attraction, and they're both iconic, classic.
Guys, who said Grim Grin goes first?
You know what? I wouldn't mind taking on Small World.
You sure?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. I wouldn't mind it.
Okay.
Pie's going first with Ghost. And Tiki as Small World. All right, same speed round rules apply. Just Pie when you start speaking.
Okay, well, going back